Now we have a very special guest for you tonight, and it is a great pleasure to introduce here on the U.S. Report, Donald Trump Jr. Donald, you're coming out to Australia for a speaking tour in early July. Tell us what you're going to be talking about and what you want to bring out here to the Australian people.
Listen, I think we're going to be talking about all things, but primarily sort of the attack of the woke ideology on everything that would have been a traditional value. I think we see what's going on in the world. I think we saw what was brought out by COVID. Sort of the great democracies of the world sort of turned into despotic, dictatorial, insane places. And I think perhaps, unfortunately, some of those great freedom, bastions of freedom, or at least what we thought of, were probably on that way for quite some time. I know there certainly was that in the United States, and COVID really brought that out. So I'm going to be talking about all of those things: the attack on the nuclear family, the attack on all that is good and decent, and the real threat of woke ideology and what that means for our future.
And we've seen this, we watch this from Australia, and we know that whatever happens in the U.S. comes out here eventually. How bad is it right now? I mean, we've seen the Bud Light thing being the latest case about this, and are people starting to fight back? How do you sense the fight back happening?
Yeah, listen, I think people are finally fighting back. But, again, I wake up some days, I think I'm in the Truman Show. I'm looking for the video cameras. No, they have to be punking us, right? 5 years ago, we would have never said, a 3-year-old, someone that could not buy a pack of cigarettes in our country for another 15 years, should be able to decide to mutilate their body, to change their gender, to suit, the whims and wishes of their rainbow-haired teacher, to accommodate those things. That's not something we would have ever thought would be an issue, let alone a hill to die on by the radical left. We wouldn't think that, there'd be men competing in women's sports. If that happened, we'd think that there'd be women and feminists and people who led those movements actually fighting back and standing up for actual biological women in those sports, and pretending that there's no difference in biology and the physical attributes of those athletes. We're seeing total lunacy. We're seeing, look at all the things that we were told were the science during COVID that, were all disproven almost immediately. Everyone with a brain knew that, of course, the Wuhan lab leak theory was the most plausible answer. In what universe would, no, it didn't come from the lab that studies the exact virus in the town where the virus originated. It came from 4 feet outside of the lab, and we're supposed to believe that. And if you're in medicine and you said that it came from the lab, obviously, you were totally ostracized. You were out. Trust the science was a whole bunch of rubbish. And we're seeing that across the board in every way, shape, and form. And our enemies, the true threat to freedom and democracy around the world, whether that's totalitarian regimes like China or otherwise, are laughing as we beclown ourselves with this nonsense.